Beautiful cancer. Now that's not something you hear every day, is it? In fact, it's rather absurd. But 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and my experience was amazing, awesome, and yes, beautiful. While going through cancer, I thought all the other cancer patients were having the same experience. It wasn't until much later I discovered that my experience was unique, and I decided it was important to share how and why with others. So let me take you to the beginning of my story. I woke up one morning with one really weird symptom. It was just weird enough I knew I needed to see a doctor. My doctor recommended a specialist, and the specialist recommended a series of tests. It would be 2 long weeks before I'd have the tests and get the results. So, being the very impatient, yet very intelligent woman I am, I went to Dr. Google. I entered my one weird symptom into the Google search bar, and the result was bladder cancer. Wait, what? Bladder cancer? Holy freaking crap, bladder cancer. I didn't go to Dr. Google just once. I went over and over and over again, every day, multiple times a day, for 2 solid weeks. And the same search result kept appearing: bladder cancer. Well, it felt like it took forever, but the 2 weeks finally passed, and the day came for me to have the tests and get the result. I was about as prepared as any human being could be. You see, I'm a total book nerd. And it was as if all the books, authors, editors, and publishers had prepared me for this one moment. They would be my guide on this journey. Sheryl Sandberg said, "Lean in." I could do that. Oprah Winfrey said, "Embrace it." Well, I could do that too. And Pema Chodron, if you don't know Pema Chodron, she's like this little Tibetan Buddhist Yoda. And Pema teaches that everything in life is a lesson. And now it was time for me to apply everything I'd ever read to this journey. The test confirmed cancer. But I was prepared. You see, I had a plan. I could focus on the darkness of my situation, or I could focus on the light side, the brighter side. And if I would focus on the light side, I would find more light, because we get more of what we focus on. That's how our brains work. I'd like to prove my point. Indulge me by participating in a little experiment with me. I want you to look around the room and count silently and to yourselves everything that you see that is the color red. Hurry up, go ahead, start counting. Everything you see in red. Now stop counting, you've had enough time. Now we're all going to close our eyes, and I want you to imagine everything you saw that is the color yellow. I know, right? Open your eyes. You couldn't think of anything yellow because you had only been focused on red. We get more of what we focus on. Our focus, perspective, and attitude alters our experience. While going through cancer, a lot of my friends congratulated me on my attitude. They said things like, "Good job, Jami. Attitude is everything. You got this, girl." I felt encouraged. But one man looked at me and in complete honesty and sincerity said, "Jami, cancer doesn't give a crap about your attitude." I was like, "Dude, whoa, chill out." Too often we let other people influence our path instead of creating our own journey. I knew that the words I would choose would hold great power over shaping my experience. The word cancer all by itself has power. And when we combine it with other words, we give it even more power. Well, I didn't want to fight it, battle it, or F it. I wanted something better than just fighting cancer. I wanted something I knew for sure I could win. So I considered my cancer as a life-changing growth opportunity instead. Words like cancer journey, cancer adventure, and cancer experience were more meaningful to me. My doctor referred to my cancer as angry and aggressive. Those words didn't resonate with me. I referred to my cancer as ambitious, outgoing, and a real overachiever. Words have power and help to make my cancer journey beautiful. But I will share with you that when you first get diagnosed with cancer, it hijacks and consumes every thought. I didn't want to think about cancer, but I couldn't help it. It was overwhelming. Well, I had read a lot of business books on how to handle an overwhelming project or business goal. So I had the crazy notion to combine business strategies with cancer. Hear me out. When you have a big business project or goal, it's important that you set aside time to create a strategic plan. You need to set aside a time to plan a step-by-step process on how you're going to achieve that goal. Then you need to focus and imagine the ultimate outcome you hope to achieve. And finally, you need to revisit that plan on a regular basis. Well, this seemed like a way to make my worrying stop. So every morning, for 5 minutes, I would hold a strategic planning session with cancer. I would go into my living room and I would sit in a special chair. It's the chair nobody sits in because it's a fancy schmancy antique chair. But it became my space to be with cancer. I would sit in that chair and I would talk out loud as if cancer was in the room with me. I would articulate my fears and I would come up with solutions for the things I was afraid of. I was afraid of going bald. So my solution was to create a Pinterest board of beautiful wigs that I would buy if I lost all my hair. I was afraid that chemo would make me throw up. People, this is serious stuff. I hate to throw up. Solution? Well, I had never smoked pot before. But I hear it helps with nausea. And if smoking pot would keep me from throwing up, booyah. Smoking pot was going to be my solution. I was prepared to roll a big fat joint. And when I thought about the possibility and my fear that cancer could take my life, I had no solution. There was no control over that outcome. So my only option was to turn that fear over to my Creator. And this brought me beautiful peace. And every morning, after 5 minutes of these strategic planning sessions, my fears would be relieved, at least for the moment. And I could let go of cancer, and I could move on and have a beautiful day. Not long into my cancer journey, I was having lunch with my friend Kim. She's the executive director of a cancer resource center. I shared with Kim that I was struggling with keeping cancer private. She told me that people who go through cancer alone or who try to keep it private might suffer from PTSD later on. PTSD? Like I really wanted to add that to this whole cancer thing. So I openly shared my diagnosis with my community, who quickly lightened my load. Their love and support was beautiful and made my cancer journey easier. My friend Jackie and I created a new kind of therapy for processing my painful emotions. We called it ugly crying and swearing. There we were, crying buckets and buckets of tears of sadness and disappointment, while at the very same time dropping the F-bomb over and over and over again. Sharing my raw, real, painful emotions with a dear, precious friend was a beautiful experience. My closest friends became like sisters, and my sister became my closest and most trusted friend. And my son, my great big carefree man-child son, became my hero. There was something beautiful about my cancer journey every single day. People, our lives are made up of balance. The balance of light and dark. For everything that is ugly and scary, there is also beauty. There is beauty in the messy, chaotic process of life. There is beauty in pain and struggle, in fear and uncertainty, in trust, acceptance, and surrender to our Creator. And there is profound beauty in saying goodbye and letting go. I could tell you about the struggles I had while going through cancer, but I won't, because those aren't my most significant memories. I was focused on amazing, awesome, and beautiful. And that's what I got. Beautiful cancer. Now that's an idea worth sharing.